Hi guys, it's Tiffany. I'm going to review something that I have been promising a review on for a long time, I know. It is the Studio Sculpt Foundation by MAC, and I bought this probably about 2 weeks ago, and I've been using it consistently, like pretty much every day since then, because I really wanted to give a true review of it. Really wanted to see how my skin reacted and stuff like that, and really pay attention to like how it wears, best ways to apply it. I applied this stuff like a million different ways. But gotta start off by saying that the foundation itself is a gel. It's very moisturizing, it's very rich. This is something that I normally would never consider wearing or spending the money on, just because I have oily skin, and normally I get something that's more of a matte finish, something that not even that, but just something that's more, geared toward oily skin, and I'm very prone to things breaking me out, so I'm very careful about what I put on my face. So when I first got this, I was very scared to even try it, and after a few days of trying it with great results, I stuck with it for I guess it's been 2 weeks now, and haven't noticed any problems. So first off, I've got to tell you about some good means of applying it. Well, my color is an NC25. I had heard some people saying that in this particular foundation you have to go lighter a few shades, or a shade or two. And I really didn't find that to be the case. I'm normally an NC25-ish, NC20, NC25. It really just blends right into my skin. I probably look a little darker than normal now because I've used some bronzer for the look that I did today. So don't let that freak you out. Okay, anyways, about applying this stuff. It can be a little tricky at first, just because it's not really like a normal foundation. Normally I would use a brush like this, the 188 for liquid foundation, or a 109. Or a larger foundation brush like a 189. I prefer this one to the 190 because it just gets the job done faster. A lot of people think it's a little scratchy, but it doesn't bother me. Let me think. You could use a brush like this to apply it. This is the 180. It's discontinued, but you can get the 183, and it's almost exactly the same brush. I know that some counters in stores still sell it. Or this brush. I really love this for foundation, the 165. Okay, anyways. I used every single one of these to apply this stuff, and I found that brushes like these, like the 188 and the 165, ones that are a little more flimsy, this one I love. I love to use this with a thinner foundation. Same with this one. These don't work so well for a gel-based foundation, because with a gel-based foundation it's very thick. You need something that's really going to work it into your skin. When I use this one, and this one especially, well, this one especially, you really have to work it in. The 165 was a little better because it is a little more dense at the tip and whatever, but you just really do have to work with those a little longer. So then I tried the 189 with it. This was okay, but I really, again, had to work and work. And it wasn't like, this isn't a foundation that's just going to sink into your skin immediately. That being said, you do have to use a very small amount. Start off with a very small amount, because it will go a lot farther than you think it will. And then, apply a little bit more as you need it. This worked okay. Again, not my favorite way to apply it. A brush like this, like a, like a buffer brush. This is the 185. This is like the mega version of the 183. The 183 looks like this, but smaller. The brush is actually this size. This is way too big. But just so you can kind of see, it has that same kind of handle. So with a brush like this, it since it's so dense, and it really, I felt like it worked it into my skin, this is a very good brush to use with it. Also, a 109 brush works really great with it as well. There's something though about the 109, I thought it was a little easier to work with. I do love the 180, like I said, or the 183 to do foundation with, but I really did like the 109 with it. So if you're going to use a brush, the 109 is probably your best bet. Something very dense, smaller, a little more precise. But that is actually not my favorite way to apply it. Surprisingly, I actually prefer a sponge, and I'm going to explain why. Now, with makeup sponges, definitely, they're perfectly fine to use. A lot of people are like anti-makeup sponge, which I don't quite understand. they're fine to use as long as you are very religious about tossing them after each use, or two. And when I say two, I mean if you just use one side and can store it somewhere where it's not going to get dirty, and then flip it and use the other side like the next day or something if the other side is clean. Little wedge type sponge is my favorite way to apply it. What I do is I just squirt the product directly onto it, dab it where I need it, and blend it in. I really like using a sponge because it soaks up some of the product, and you know, you can kind of dab it out of the sponge, you know, where you need it. It's not going to just spread it all over your face like a brush would. It's going to actually absorb some of the product and give you a more natural finish. You can even dampen the sponge a little bit, which works really nice as well. When I say dampen it, I mean dampen it. Don't, like, you know, where you can squeeze. You don't want water coming out of it. Just, you know, very lightly damp. Alright, so if you're going to do that and you're going to go that route, definitely just go somewhere like Walmart or Ulta. You can get giant bags of makeup wedges. Keep them in a drawer where you're doing your makeup. Keep them wherever. And, you know, just get rid of them after each use. Alright, now as far as how it actually looks and stuff, it is a more natural coverage foundation, or a natural finish foundation. That does not necessarily mean it's going to be shiny, which I think a lot of people think if a foundation means natural finish, it means shiny. That's not always the case. Just because it says moisturizing and because it says that it's you know, a natural finish, it doesn't make your face look shiny. Once it actually sets onto your skin, it looks almost like it has, not powder, but I don't know, it just looks like your skin. Like, it looks, because to me, I mean, my natural skin, I don't think shiny, you know. I mean, it actually just looks like skin. It looks good. And if you apply it correctly, and it's not like sitting on top of your face, and you really get it blended in well, it looks really, really great. The coverage, I was expecting it to be like very, very full coverage since it is so thick. It's really not. It's not going to magically cover everything. You do have to use a concealer if you have some breakouts, or if you have some acne scarring or discoloration. You will have to use another concealer, because if you keep piling it on, yeah, you know, in problem areas you might be able to dab on just a little bit more, but definitely you won't be able to dab it on until it's gone, or that kind of ruins the effect of the makeup and it's going to look cakey. You don't want to lose the natural effect that it has. Now, I'm very picky about makeup. Like I said, I don't like anything that leaves a shiny effect, and this doesn't. That being said, I do have kind of more oily combination skin. You know, when it gets oily, and I have to touch it up sometimes throughout the day. You know, I'll use like a little oil blotting paper or whatever if it's hot, or you know, sometimes it's just, you know, your skin decides that it hates you. But I found that with this stuff, for some reason, I did not feel like I was having to constantly touch my makeup up. It really looked natural. All in all, I think it's really awesome stuff. It's definitely worth the money. Oh, when you set this stuff, you definitely, you know, you don't want to just pile powder on top of it, because then you'll just lose the natural effect. That's not what you want. So I definitely recommend using a mineralized skin finish natural on top of it, because this really has a natural finish to it, and it really complements this makeup really well, I think. As for how my skin has reacted to it, my skin has actually looked really good over the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I do break out every now and then, but it hasn't, you know, honestly, my skin has felt like it's gotten better. Not necessarily because of the makeup, but I don't know, I was just really impressed with it, and it's something I totally would have never considered buying, but I actually really love it. So if you guys can, I definitely check it out. I know that we all have different skin, you know, it may not work for all of us, but it's definitely worth a try. So thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.